Okay, welcome to the recap. My first draw for the day was London Low, which is this low here, because the weekly, so today's Monday, the weekly is opening lower. And because if I'm using weekly profiles here, I want to see Monday and Tuesday be the manipulation for the week if we're going to have a bullish week. So I didn't expect, because it's only Monday, I didn't expect the low to be put in yet. So I was originally pretty bearish and we still had some room down here to go since we haven't rebalanced this weekly range all the way. So we could still go a little bit lower here and maybe hit EQ of this weekly range or this weekly rejection block here. We also have this small little 1 hour gap which London edged. So I viewed this as just engineered liquidity for this little 1 hour gap. And then on ES, it was the same idea. We still had the CE of this weekly fair value gap here. And we do have a little daily gap, a small one, right here. But the daily candle opens higher here. Doesn't really trade into much, but it does manipulate higher. We close below, and before open, we're reacting out of this 4 hour gap and midnight open. So the draw for me was pretty clear for open. And we did have this SMT with previous day low, which I didn't care too much about just because I still pretty much expected lower, just for at least for open. My idea was to just take a short to London low, or if we sweep London low first and get some sort of reaction out of this 1 hour gap, or maybe this daily gap fill, or even this daily fair value gap way down here, then look for a long if 10 a.m. sets up for it. So what happened at open is we just dumped with no entry right here. So we take London low, and then I just wanted to wait for 10 a.m. We hit this 1 hour gap, and what I wanted was for 10 a.m. to open higher, but it actually did open lower. So 10 a.m. opens right here. So I was hoping for manipulation higher first into this 15-minute gap, and then look for a short down to this 4 hour rejection block, because this looked like a pretty decent spot that we could flip bullish from, or even this daily gap down here. But we filled this daily gap actually. So we have this old daily gap that we filled all the way, and that's where we got the reaction off of. And if you look at 10 a.m., all right, there's barely any manipulation above. On ES, it's a little different, but I was just looking at NQ for the most part. So we left the 9 a.m. low. So since we didn't open higher, I saw we're opening lower. I wanted to see the 9 a.m. low get swept on either ES or NQ. And ES swept previous day low as well. Swept out all these lows, was still holding this 4 hour gap here. So I was expecting the 9 a.m. low to get swept, but we actually left it because we made this 15-minute rejection block, which was off of the daily gap fill. And this ended up holding right here. So I did want to see a little bit lower and see this 4-hour rejection block because it's not mitigated yet. Right here. I mean, we almost tap it. But yeah, I just saw this as a possible point where we could flip bullish. But I waited for the 10-15 candle because I wasn't sure if this manipulation was over or if this 10-15 candle is going to open right here and then sweep the 9 a.m. low. But that's pretty much when I saw this 15-minute rejection block. I don't think I marked it because I just expected this low. But then I noticed at 10:10 we made this 5-minute rejection block out of the C of this 15-minute rejection block. So once I saw this here, I was pretty sure this 15-minute rejection block was going to hold, and the next 15-minute candle would just trade into this 5-minute here. And there's this 5-minute here at 10:05 off of this 15-minute. This got reswept right here. So this was a valid trade in my opinion. I just noticed with 10 a.m. the entry usually is 10:10 at the earliest. So a rejection block made at 10:05, I wouldn't really expect to hold. I would just expect that to get reswept just because it's just too early. Basically, that's just what I've noticed, but this could hold. I mean, it's the same trade. 5-minute out of the 15-minute. There was even this 1-minute at 10:04, but gets reswept. And then there was a 2-minute as well right here, and a 3-minute that doesn't get hit. Right, so I marked this 5-minute right here, and I didn't limit this 5-minute because by the time I saw it, I was just too late because we traded into it right here, and that's when I saw this 1-minute rejection block. So I should have limited this 1-minute rejection block, entered here, but I hesitated my entry, and I wanted to wait for like a small reaction off of this just to make sure that this wasn't going to get reswept because we still had the 9 a.m. low. So I wasn't 100% confident in this because we still have the 9 a.m. low on both assets here. But I saw, alright, we're getting the reaction out of this. Also, this was a new 5-minute candle open, so I wasn't super positive that this 1-minute was going to hold. But it did, and I entered right around here with my stop here. So I could have put my stop here, but just in case this gets reswept, I put it down here just to cover this 1-minute range. So to cover OTE here. And I targeted the C of this 15-minute gap because we left this 15-minute gap here. So this would be about a 1 to 4 or 1 to 5. Right. And my entry is around here. So about 1 to 4.5. Right, so what happened is I just went break even a little too early because my entry was here. So my entry was late, which means I can't go break even as soon. So I went break even here once we hit 10 a.m. But then we started to react off of 10 a.m. and I got break even right here. And then it ran to TP. So pretty unfortunate. Now, if I would have entered on this 1-minute rejection block, I it still would have been break even this. If I did enter on the 5 minute, so this 5 minute right here, yeah, it wouldn't be break even here. So it makes sense to go break even at 10 a.m. here. Like, I didn't expect this move down. I just expected for 10 a.m. to get closed past, and then we just sweep these highs. But because my entry was a little bit late, I could have gone break even at these highs in the 15-minute gap. But yeah, pretty unfortunate break even. But it comes down to the entry, with the entry being a little too late. But I think what I should have done is just trailed my stop to this low and gone break even once we hit the 15-minute gap. But I was right about the direction, pretty much. And if you look at the 1 minute, it's pretty clear. We just have a little bit of chop here, and then this is the manipulation. And you get the entry pretty much at 10:10 or 10:18 if you entered on this 1 minute. So a pretty good day actually for a Monday. So after that, I got break even, and I wanted to see, I wanted to see 10 a.m. get tapped. So an entry off of 10 a.m. after we closed above it, but we never came back down there. But it would have been really nice because 10 a.m. actually made this 1 hour rejection block right here. So I stayed on after 11 and looked for this to get hit, but we never actually hit that. So there's really nothing else to take unless you want to go for, there's not really an entry here other than this little 1 minute, just out of this 5 minute gap. But yeah, from there, we just traded higher. And ES is going for this high. So yeah. Overall, pretty good day. Good 10 a.m. trade. It's nice. It was a nice open low for this 1 hour candle, and then probably the 4 hour too. So yeah, that's the recap. One trade for the day. I'll see you guys in the next one.